Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, April 5th, 2022, and this is the first hearing of the month for the City of Tempe hearing officer. My name is Vanessa McDonald, and I am the hearing officer. So we have a very brief agenda this afternoon. I'm going to read something into the record, and then we'll get to our single case that we have on our agenda. The City of Tempe hearing officer is authorized by Arizona Revised Statutes and the City of Tempe Zoning and Development Code. The hearing officer has the duty to carry out both the provisions and the intent of the Zoning and Development Code and the Tempe City Code. The hearing officer is granted the authority to conduct public hearings to decide upon the abatement of code violations occurring on properties within the city. These code violations include, but aren't limited to, deteriorated landscaping, inoperable vehicles, deteriorated structures, storage of junk or refuse, or deteriorated swimming pools. Abatement actions are brought before the hearing officer by the city's Code Compliance Division, typically after numerous attempts at contacting the property owner to obtain voluntary compliance with the code. The hearing officer can issue an order directing the owner, occupant, rental agent, property manager, or other responsible person to abate a code violation or authorize the city to abate the condition giving rise to the violation. The cost of an abatement is the responsibility of the owner of the property where the violation occurred and may be collected as an assessment against the property found to be in violation. We had some modifications to our published agenda. Originally, it had 4 items. It now contains 2 items. We have a set of minutes from March 15th, 2022. Agenda item number 2, I've been informed, is now, the property is now in compliance with the code, and therefore it has been withdrawn by code compliance staff. Item number 3 is going to be continued to a date that's uncertain at this point. We need to have some re-notification attempts for the correct property owner. Any property owner who is aggrieved by a decision by the hearing officer can file an appeal within 14 calendar days after the hearing officer has made a decision. As such, the deadline for appealing any decision rendered today is 3 p.m. on April 19th, 2022. Joining me this afternoon from Community Development to my left are Drew Yoakum and Cassidy Hernandez. Thanks for your help today, you guys. That takes us to agenda item number 1. This is consideration of the meeting minutes from March 15th, 2022. I had a chance to review the minutes as they were presented to me in my packet, and I believe they accurately reflect what took place at that hearing. So I'm going to approve the minutes from March 15th, 2022. As I mentioned previously, agenda items 2 and 3 are no longer on our agenda, so we're going to move to agenda item number 4, which is a request for abatement of public nuisance items. This property is called the Star 2021 SFR property. It's located at 1231 West La Jolla Drive. The applicant is the City of Tempe Code Compliance, represented today by Hector Heredia. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Madam Hearing Officer McDonald. My name is Hector Heredia Jr., and I'm a Code Compliance Inspector with the City of Tempe Code Compliance Division. I am here this evening to request an 180-day open abatement for the property located at 1231 West La Jolla Drive within the City of Tempe jurisdiction 85282. This case was initiated back on August 24th of 2021 for a deteriorated landscape and sidewalk obstruction by vegetation/palm tree branches. Since the case was initiated, several anonymous complaints have been filed regarding the deteriorated state of the location. I have not had any communication with the property owner, nor have corrective actions taken place to clear the pending violations. My findings, what I have found in regards to the case on August 24th of 2021 regarding the anonymous complaint that was easily verified at the location. A first notice was issued and a 14-day period was allowed. On 8/31/2021, anonymous complaints were received regarding the deteriorated state of the location. Then on 9/15/2021, at the second inspection, no corrective action had taken place and a final notice was issued. Another 14-day period was granted in that notice, hoping that correction action would take place or communication initiated, but it was not. So on 10/8/2021, at the third inspection, only minor corrective action had taken place, but no communication initiated. On 11/9/2021, it was decided by management that because multiple points of origin exist for the headquarters of the property owner's location, that the abatement process should be initiated. So at that point, paperwork was filed for the April 5th, 2022 hearing officer meeting, which is today.
Perfect. You have some photographs, I
Yes,
think.
I also have some photos taken earlier today, roughly between 11 and 12, illustrating the current state of the property. This is the front yard, illustrating overheight not only on the concrete, but also within its front yard.
Can you rotate it so that nope, now it's upside down. There you go. Thank
So
you.
you can see here that the overheight is here, and slightly cut off is where the obstruction begins. This other photo also illustrates the opposite side of the front yard where you could clearly see that there is overheight and some deterioration taking place. This photo better illustrates the areas of sidewalk that are being obstructed that are closely related to the front yard. Here is one location. Here is another location by the palm tree branches and palm fronds, and slightly behind that, the bougainvillea plant that is also obstructing the sidewalk in a major way.
I have a question about that screen wall. Is that permitted in the city of Tempe? I mean, I know it's not a code compliance in terms of the city code, but it
Yes.
seems like it would be a zoning violation to have that screen wall just right up against the sidewalk
The pony wall is allowed within the city of Tempe
because of the height.
as long as it's underneath 3 feet of height.
Okay.
If they are encroaching in that right-of-way area, any damage that the sidewalk or damage suffers would be responsibility to the property owner.
Okay. Thank you.
Here is another photograph of the bougainvillea from a little bit further back, also illustrating the overheight here in the roundabout area, as well as illustrating the bougainvillea that is, encroaching into that prohibited area. And finally, another pulled back photo from the alley, also illustrating several palm trees within that small area that are clearly overgrown and part of the original complaint brought forth back in August of 2024, hoping that those things would be addressed. Clearly are not, and hoping that today you will approve a 100 and open day abatement so that these violations can be addressed.
Thank you. It looks just by the name of the owner of the property. Is this a rental property?
This is a rental property.
Okay. So clearly the landlord is not managing this property as they should. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the
Very much.
photographs. Drew, do we have anyone on the line wanting to speak about this agenda item?
No, Madam Hearing Officer, we've not received any communication at this time.
Okay. Thank you. Well, as you said in your presentation, this case goes all the way back to August, which is 8 months of attempts at trying to bring the property owner into voluntary compliance. And clearly, by the photographs you presented, he's not, he, she, it, whatever you call the entity, has not taken the steps necessary to meet the code. So, and given the number of complaints that have been lodged on this property, I think we owe it to the neighbors in this area to go ahead and abate the property. So I'm going to grant your 180-day open abatement contained in case CE 215301. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice afternoon. Thank you.
You too. Well, that was our single agenda item this afternoon. Do you have any announcements, Drew?
Yes, just one. The next scheduled hearing officer meeting is set for April 19th at 5 p.m. That will be held here in the council chambers as well as live on Tempe 11.
Okay, great, thank you. Thank you very much. We're adjourned this afternoon.